My name is Carrie Morrow, and this is my podcast, What the Heck Next? I'm going to do a solo episode today because I have a lot to say about this moment in time. So much to talk about. Beginning of 2026, lots going on. I look forward to having the conversation. So come and listen to what I have to say. Life has a way of changing your plans, the ones we never planned to change. Well, here we are. This is that moment again. The beginning of 2026, it's just a mouthful. There's not a day that goes by without some compelling story. That's the international version. The personal version for me is that everybody in Hollywood's very optimistic. I'm hoping that there's some version of the comeback kid for Hollywood. Not so sure about that. It's interesting to me because for the first time, pretty much in my career, I'm getting approached by people who want me to produce super low budget. I It's more of a no budget in my opinion. Movies that are made for in the $1 million range. It's not the world of Hollywood that I know and understand. First of all, because what happens at that level is irregulated. There's no unions. There's not really regulated rates for crew and rules. And how do you navigate that? The great thing about that is those kind of productions are for people who are coming up and learning about what you wouldn't do again. Years ago, when I started producing, I actually had a journal that I would keep a list of things, every production of what I would not do again and what I would do again. For example, I was on a production and the cinematographer wanted to hire his wife as the first assistant camera person, which is the person that works directly for them with the equipment and the focus. Well, when I first started out, what was the big deal? That sounds how lovely, how cute. You're going to bring your wife to work every day and work together. But there comes a point in almost every production where there's this struggle between what the producer is going to pay for, what the director wants, what the cinematographer wants to provide. And there you go with this shifting of power. It's out of whack. So that was one of my examples, never to hire married people in a department. Now, there may be producers that say otherwise. I had it as a hard, fast rule, not going to happen again. That was a long time ago. That was in the early 90s, and that was not a good idea. I stood by that rule for a long time. But that was me learning, coming up the ranks and producing first a non-union production, then a union productions, and learning the ropes of what you would do and what you wouldn't do again, and going through experiences that would teach me what was the best way to produce. Every production had a great lesson that it taught me, whether it be about going on location or doing things that, would constantly result in an issue. And so I became really great at getting ahead of those problems before they even arose. I would pretty much just go, yeah, no, we're not going to do that, because I knew what worked and what didn't work. I learned as I went along the best way to do things, like for hiring people. Or I think I told a story about a time where I was asked to hire somebody that when I researched, they had the worst reputation in the world. But I decided that that was somebody who my director really wanted, so I was gonna give them a conversation, and we did. You know what? That's an example of doing the right things when the wrong things are happening, and it worked out. I was really glad that I hired that person. It's not easy to produce movies, and it's certainly not easy to figure out what before something happens, what is the best direction to go in, but you learn, you go, you become the leader of the ship, and everybody looks to you for those decisions. This is this moment in time where there is so much information and information, especially about Hollywood, coming at us at, alarming rates about what some people are like, oh, yeah, you're going to see there's stuff. It's coming. There's a lot of stuff. Is there? I had a conversation with an agent yesterday whose exact words were, I hope it's coming back. You hope. Well, I'm past hope. That's a 4-letter word I left, I think, in 25. Hope is not where we're at. We need evidence of what direction Hollywood has for us. Is there a direction left for us? Is there a place to go where we belong? I I would like to think so. I would like to think that there is evidence and possibility. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any evidence of it. I am surrounded by people who aren't working. Top makeup artist, my friend, won an Emmy. She can't find a job in 2 years. But then I have another friend who's going to work on these the verticals. But this time it's American company making the vertical. So here's my opinion on that. Okay, now that I hear that all these companies are getting into verticals, Disney, I heard Disney today, although I heard that it's more in the animation version for the short form for your phone. You sit and watch the vertical on your phone, which is the whole point of the vertical. I'm trying to understand what is the difference of making a hyper low budget production, because is a vertical a regulated production? Because if it's still in the $250,000 range, there's no money. Are there unions? Are there not unions? And by the way, once all the costs start pouring into a regulated production, they're out of here. That's what happens. Like I said, I made Saw 10 in Mexico City for $3 million. No regulations, no unions, no nothing. Anyway, that's where we are. I sit here and I think, if the agents who have their finger on the pulse of Hollywood is saying, I hope it comes back. Oh my gosh. What am I going to do with that information? What am I going to do with his hope? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. And here we are in a world where it's kind of scary, where it's such a free for all. The information is a free for all. Our habits are being formed by our information. I'll tell you right now, over the holidays, when it was pouring rain in Los Angeles, and I was saying to my kids, let's just go and walk around the mall. Right. You really think what could go wrong in this mall? You know what? That's heartbreaking to me. With the news coming at us, it's almost like a reality show of its own. This moment in time with information, lack of safety, confusion, defending the wrong. When something happens, like I say, which side of the story are you on? Can you be the person that does the right thing when all the wrong things are happening? Because that's a really confusing answer now, isn't it? Who is that person? When you look to leadership, whatever you believe in, and you think that that's right or that's wrong, that's kind of confusing now, isn't it? I am worried about my Hollywood, because the information that's coming to me is pretty confusing. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it is what it is, which isn't. Okay, no, it just isn't information. And I trust I'm going to get the right information. There was a moment where I thought, oh, it's just me. I'm the only one. And I'm not the only one. My friends aren't working still. And yet I have one or two friends that are like, yeah, I got called for this little thing. Okay, you go do the little thing. And I mean, I even had a friend say to me the other day that they're booked until July. Okay. I'm really happy for you. But when they tell you what they're booked on, you're not jealous anymore. The unsure moment of this moment, it's not logical to me how we don't know what side of right and wrong. And you're shocked when people of authority are weighing in on situations that are clearly one way. I I look for the truth, and the truth is not a valid word anymore because the truth is just opinions. I find that all these shows, these news shows, my mother turns her TV on and she could watch news show after news show after news show, and for hours and hours and hours of the same position with a different host. And what I used to call news shows are really now just political talk shows. And they're just political opinions trying to stay fair and balanced on both sides of unbelievable. The event is unbelievable and both sides are unbelievable. And you know what? That's Hollywood to me. Hollywood is in the middle and there's both sides of unbelievable. It's coming back. It's coming back. You're going to see there's going to be this flood. Okay, I hope so. I really hope that I'm in that flood and I'm on the little boat and I'm going off to location somewhere and making another fabulous movie. Then there's the side of the people, many of them who've been on my podcast, that have no work and they have no hope. I'm sitting right now in this moment of confusion. There is no logical answer, which is now what I'm calling the truth. What's the logical answer? I remember hearing that word gaslighting for the longest time. I didn't quite understand. It sort of popped up and became this cliche term for the longest time. Oh, you're gaslighting me. I started watching things that just didn't make sense to me. Having been in Hollywood for 40 years as a valid, literally working producer, and somebody on a post saying, you're gonna see it's gonna flood, it's coming back. I wrote to one of those it's going to be a flood post social media creators, and I said, "What are you talking about? Seriously, show me the money. Show me what you're talking about." His answer was, "I'm just trying to stay positive." Trying to stay positive. Just stay truthful. Logical truth, logical facts that back up what you're saying. Because my logical facts are a little bit combined. My logical facts are also combined with part of my emotions, because my emotion about my Hollywood, my stability, my career, my finances, my paycheck, and my benefits, they're not logical anymore. Like I've said, turn off the volume. What do you see? What do you believe? And my favorite country song, I think I've told you this. If my phone still ain't ringing, I assume it still ain't you. And that's where my life is at right now. It's very quiet. And I'm really honored by these followers of mine who go, Carrie, I've got a script and I'd love for you to produce it. I can't produce below standards. When you get into unions, or I'm in the Directors Guild for 33 years, one of the clauses that you sign off on actually says, I will never accept terms less than the ones that have been negotiated in the collective bargaining agreement. And that's a very important thing. In my producing career, it's not logical for me to accept terms that are less than the ones that I have learned, like I said, in my list of things I will do and will not do again, that these terms of non-union, we're going to go to the middle of nowhere, you're going to see, it's going to be this great thing. I had a conversation with somebody who was really trying to convince me. When I looked at all their materials, I said to myself, Carrie, let's be open and see, maybe this is just a world that you're not used to. But you know what? I looked really carefully, and all those documents, no offense, were nonsensical. Nonsensical. Saying that they're going to shoot, X amount of days for X amount of dollars. Stop it. The cost of a day cannot be $20,000 to employ 30 to 40 people on location in the middle of another state that is not a film hub. And isn't the cost of a day $20,000? Like, they're like, no, you'll see. No, I won't see. Okay. I am literally a human calculator. One of my guests, my guest Devon, he said on the podcast, this woman is a human calculator. That's really what I am, with a pile of emotions. I am a computer of calculations, and I can tell you in seconds. You can send me your project, your script, your budget. I can tell you in a second that it's nonsense. It's nonsensical for me. Okay? Because already on paper, you're telling me you're breaking rules. You are not complying with just basic standards. And the amount of 20,000, for example, how are you going to, you can't employ people at minimum wage in the movie business, think that the unions aren't going to show up and you're going to have enough money to work them on a 12-hour day with all the fringes and taxes and everything that goes with it for 20 days in the middle of a distant location where you've got to put actors in hotels and fly people. Right off the bat, it's not logical. They're arguing and telling me, no, it is. You'll see. We had an expert. We had a consultant. I don't consult, I make. And I don't need to consult to get a fee on a project that's not going to happen. Logically, it's not a reasonable proposal. I would love for all these proposals to make sense, but this whole world doesn't make sense to me. This whole world. I feel so bad for these up and coming filmmakers, but you know what? They're going to learn the way I learned, except that I learned on paper books. Paper. There were no computers when I started. I learned a great way to do things and a great way not to do things. But in life, right now, as I sit here and I watch the news, I listen to everything. I feel like it's just a daily deluge of over sensory information that makes me just go, when did we stop being the person that does the right thing when all the wrong things are happening? Even as I'm talking about a budget, I cannot be the person that says, you know what, that is great. You got a great plan. Lots of luck to you. Yeah, I think I'm going to pass. No, I'm going to tell the truth always. This is not a logical proposal to me. I really struggled as this person did not want to listen to me. It's not logical. I am glad that I'm still logical. I am happy that I have instincts that make sense to me. I am still kind. I still believe. I would like to have more than hope that Hollywood is coming back. I'm also smart enough to know at this point, what you see is what you get. Sure. Could the phone ring tomorrow? Like all my tarot card predictions for Taurus on social media. It's coming, big money's coming, blowing. You're going to see. I work in reality and practicality, and I raise my children that way. What you see is what you get. Right now, I don't get Hollywood. I don't get the news. I don't understand. And I find it so desensitized that we've come to this place where our basic conversation daily is watching in real time people lose their lives, then the people who think they're doing the right thing when all the wrong things are happening are having full-on defending conversations about why that person need to die. I don't understand it. I don't understand what we're doing here. I do know that I feel sad. I feel scared. Every moment I try to be hopeful, that I've been reduced to hopeful, just that we exist, that we survive, that we thrive is so far from where I'm at right now. It's so far from where I am. Thrive and survive. Wow. They're like polar opposites at this point. And we got to do better. I want to be the person who believes that there is better, but I'm dealing in reality. It breaks my heart that my teenager, who's not even old enough to vote, is calling me going, did you see, did you see did you see what they did to that person? Oh my gosh. It's the noise in this country is people wanting to do the right thing when all the wrong things are happening. It's actually the dialogue is people who are doing the wrong things and saying the right things happened. It's so backwards. Let's not abandon our humanity, because still at the bottom of everything, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie, and thou shalt love thy neighbor. And we deserve better for all of us. I'm not even taking sides of anything. We deserve better. I deserve a better Hollywood. I deserve a better landscape. I deserve better. And I deserve better than just surviving. I'm ready to start thriving like I used to. That may just be spiritually thriving, maybe just spiritual for me, but I'm okay with that. That feels good. But right now, people are scrambling. I don't want to be one of them. I wish us all a thriving landscape where we can go, this feels good and this is working. Know that there's better for our children. Do you know that there are children that have cell phones as young as 6 years old and they can see the same crap that we see every day? Speechless. I did not give my children phones until they were 14, but now they both have them and they see everything that everybody else does. Let's thrive. Let's want better than to survive, because survival is like some sort of game. It's a game of, can you top this every day in the news? Can you top this? We got to stop. We got to stop. Better days are ahead for us. Please like, follow, subscribe. Please listen to me wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Facebook. I appreciate it, and I'm really grateful for the support. Like and follow for more thriving tips. I'm Carrie Morrow. This is What the Heck Next. Thanks for listening.